we ever find out did we ever figure out that song?
Isn't it the circus one?
We never figured it out. No.
I can hear it in my head.
I know, but we could not figure it out.
I'm sure I could look.
It's not. There is the circus one.
That's what I'm thinking. It's not the
But
one
that's
that
not that starts out like that.
Is there anybody listening?
No, we could not figure out that one.
French circus vibes.
Creepy circus vibes.
Yeah, that's all we got. Guys.
Just nothing.
There's an intro at the beginning of a woman speaking, and she goes, "Is anybody listening?"
Right. And there's a lot of spoken in the song, too.
Yeah, it was kind of like spoken word.
Anyway.
Well, write in and solve that mystery for us, so. Welcome to There Are No Gays in Montana, the podcast where we talk about music we forgot from 2012, 13, and also growing up gay in rural Montana.
I would also say, I have to sneeze. I would also say that phenomenon happens to us about once a year, twice a year. We usually get to the bottom of it.
One time, this was probably like 2012, and I thought of, and I had known this song, and I literally logged into my iTunes. And iTunes used to have the ability to like go back and tell every song that you'd listen to in order.
Mm-hmm.
And I scrolled for probably 2 hours one night looking for this song.
What song was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was Banks, Begging for Thread.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great one.
Because is that when we went to that Cirque du Soleil show in Vegas and she was doing the balloon thing? Wasn't that the song?
Mm-hmm.
Was it that song?
No, it was Blood in the Cut.
Sorry, that's the song.
Yeah. Not by Banks,
It's not by Banks. It's by...
kind of same vibe, though.
My
biggest one was Feel So Good by Sonique. That one, I downloaded an app, tried to sing it. I could not get to the bottom of it. Finally, someone that was of the same era, like 90s Baby, I described it to and was able to tell me what it was.
No. Is it that one? And it makes me feel
higher than I've ever known.
Too many. You stop right there. I looked up the legal.
That one's so good. Anyway, hi, how are you?
I'm really good. The song was Blood in the Cut by K-Fly. Anyways, good. I would say we are in the thick of summer, and we are trying to do it all.
Yes, we are.
Trying to work, trying to travel, go back to Montana is usually our time, and then, of course, podcast. Why not?
Multiple sports every night of the week.
Yep, we've got 2 nights of sports during the week.
Try to go boating as much as possible.
Yep.
3 weekend prides out of the 4 weekends in June.
Yep, that's really true.
Yeah, we are in the middle of it. We're at that point right now where it's like, damn, we shouldn't have planned this much. All of our summer weekends are gone.
I know.
But then
we do it every year.
I was thinking about it today, and I love it.
I mean, I do like it. Like, I like the pace, but I don't like the pace.
I love the pace. I would say I thrive in a fast-paced environment.
I'm having fun while I'm doing the thing that we plan to do.
Right.
But I do feel like I have a hard time being able to like stop and reflect on the fun that I've had or enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having fun doing the thing that I'm doing at the moment.
Right.
But I don't have any time to be like, God, that was so fun.
Yeah, that's fair.
June was so fun.
I know. I can't believe it is the end of June. Today at work, my boss was like, I cannot believe it's the end of June. He was like getting weekends mixed up because he did not realize how far into June we already are. So yeah.
No, it's insane. We've been doing a lot though. We did go to White Center Pride the first weekend in June, which honestly is one of my personal favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think it's really fun to go to like your local Pride just down the street. I think it's a really good mix of everything. And I think it's underrated. Not underrated, it's not the right word. It's undercover.
Underdiscovered.
Like people,
undercover.
Yeah, and it's starting to become more and more and more popular. Because once people go once, I feel like they always say like, oh, you've got to go to White Center Pride. Like it's becoming like a Seattle thing to do the first weekend of June, I feel like. And even though it rained, I think it still turned out fine.
And we hosted a little pre-party at our place.
Cute, small little 30-ish people.
It was probably the most I think it's the most individuals we've ever had in our house at once, probably.
Yeah.
And we hosted it with Adam.
Yep.
From last week's episode. So Adam, as we know, recently moved semi-close to us. And so we combined pre-games and hosted with him. And it was very fun. So some mix of new people.
Yep.
Mix of people we already knew.
It was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
And then drag show was great. Tyler's ready to go dance.
I am. Ariel and I were standing there, and Ariel, she's like, if you could make your current salary and do this as your full-time job, would you do it? And I was like, absolutely, in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
It could, but do you think it would wear on me? Maybe it would.
Honestly, I think it would bring you joy.
It would. I
The
would
thing about
love
you
it.
is like if you love something, you're obsessive.
Yeah.
So like if you
I
love
would
that
perfect
thing,
it.
you will.
I would work on perfecting being a go-go dancer.
Yeah.
Sorry to my family.
Yeah, we're gonna get you in a full basketball net looking outfit, top to bottom.
Little
what I
for
saw.
the imagination.
Yeah.
But I loved it. It was still fun. I love White Center Pride too. And there's wrestling. I think that's unique.
Yeah, Lariat Bar is a wrestling themed bar, and they do wrestling every year out on the street. There's a big wrestling ring. We did run into one listener came up to us and said,
Oh my God, yeah.
and I won't say his name because he didn't give us that permission, so I don't want to. But he knows who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Ran up to us at Lumberyard,
Mm-hmm.
and he came up to us and was just like, "You guys are the Are No Gays in Montana podcast." And I would say it's happened maybe like 5 times total. In
Yeah.
our 3 years of recording.
But this, I will say, this I think is the second that is like cold off the street, came up to us and was like, "Are you them?
Yeah.
I listen to your podcast. I love your podcast. Keep going."
Yeah.
So that was awesome. He was there with his friend who was visiting from California, and it was great.
Yeah,
It
I
was-
would say it's always a good little ego boost on all the work that we put into it.
Yeah.
So
So you know who you are. I loved your heels.
yeah.
Your calves look great.
Yeah.
But keep listening. Yeah, he moved here and he somehow discovered us, he said,
Yep.
and has listened to every single episode. So that was awesome. That was a great end of the Pride because it was toward the end of the night.
Yes.
So.
It was excellent. And then other than that, do you want to tell about your exciting purchase and what you're excited for to bring into the summer of 2026?
Yes. So we made a purchase for the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are ready to take our boat to the next level. I would say in an extreme fashion.
I would say so.
in an
I would
extreme
say-
fashion. So we purchased
8-year-old Isaac would say extreme.
it's yeah. So prior to now, we've skied behind our boat, like water skied, but we have not done any other water activity. We've kind of just trolled around, had drinks, listened to music, chatted, swam. We have added a tube to our boat inventory.
It's our first water sport.
Our first water sport.
Second, we have
Yeah.
skis.
So we are now going to be swinging and thwinging our
Tearing up like
tearing
Washington.
up our friends around Lake Washington and every other group of 12-year-olds
Yeah.
on the lake. So looking forward to that. We bought it in Montana because no sales tax. So more to come with that. We'll probably share a picture or video or two.
Yeah, for sure. From the hospital. Okay, I think that brings us to jumping into today's episode, which I'm super excited about. Tyler, do you want to tell listeners what we're jumping into?
Yes. So we have our friends, Matt, Zack, and Jordan, and they are in a throuple. We originally met them a couple years ago, 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And we originally met Matt, and then shortly after, we hung out with them, went on the boat with them, and became fast friends since then. So
Yep.
we've known them for a few years, definitely have integrated friend groups, and we wanted to have them on the podcast because for us, and then we're presuming a lot of our listeners, the concept of a throuple or being any sort of full poly relationship is new.
Yeah, multi-partner relationship for sure.
Multi-partner relationship. So we have learned so much from them just by being friends with them. So we wanted to like have them on and discuss a bunch of different things. We talk about misconceptions. We talk about kind of what's going on and what they see out in the world today, like social media wise, and
Yep.
what people are saying about the concept of having more than one partner.
Yep. We talk about finances. We talk about
And
Yep.
then we get to hear their story of
Yep.
like how they got together, which Isaac and I have heard before, but this is obviously a lot more detail as they line out the progression and the timeline of them all getting together. So it's a really, really good episode. I'm very excited, and we can go ahead and get started.
Let's jump into it. So when we first sent our little text message, it was like, "Hey boys, it's time for the request" that we send to all of our friends at some point. What were your like initial thoughts for each of you?
Oh, I was so excited. Honestly, I feel like that was my
Been
first
waiting.
reaction.
You were like, "What's been taking so long?"
I think it was more of like, I'm excited to talk about this because I think
Yeah.
majority of the things that I have seen lately on social media has just been so negative with being in a throuple and just
Oh yeah, I
being
can't wait to
poly.
get into it.
And
yeah,
I think that's why I got so excited because I'm like, I want to actually talk about it because it's really making me almost angry because the perception is just
I was Aubrey Plaza on Drag Race.
yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
What'd she say?
This is the best day of my life.
Oh, I thought she said something bad about thruples like Jack.
No. I was excited. Aubrey Plaza's pro multi-partner relationships.
Yeah, very much.
Famously, she said, "This is my boyfriend. This is my boyfriend's boyfriend."
Yes.
I wasn't excited to do it. Then when it happened, I was like, oh shit, now I have to go talk about myself and my relationship.
It's really it's
Whatever.
nerve-wracking when you go to like actually do it.
Well, you know, I'm not like the first to speak up usually. I don't talk a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm like happy to be here.
I'm excited to put it out there. I feel like I'm nervous about it. I don't know why.
What makes you nervous though?
My parents are such interesting characters. Love them.
Oh God, they're the people I'm least concerned about.
I think I had the same feeling. Like when we started, I was like really nervous about my family, but I think it's like almost a really good medium to where you can like say what you want to say or say things. You don't necessarily have to like, you can send it to them and be like, you can listen to this, you can not listen to this, you can respond if you want, you don't have to respond. Then at least you know they like heard you.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I
true.
felt with my family.
It seems easier than telling them directly.
Yeah.
in some sort of way.
And you get to like,
can't wait.
you get to like think through things and speak things without having to like sit there and consistently be like, what are they thinking? What are they thinking about this? What are they, you know what I mean? So for sure. Also for listeners, if you're not watching, we have 4 microphones and 5 people. So Isaac and I are trying to share a microphone.
Yeah. This is our first one we've ever done with 5 people, but we're really excited.
Yes.
So, well, thank you for joining us. Obviously, this is one we've been really excited to do. It's definitely been on our list for sure since I think we even like had the idea about the podcast. So everyone, we'd like to welcome to the studio. We have Jordan, Zach, and Matt with us. I'll let each of you introduce yourselves though, just so people know who you are. So Jordan, you can start.
Hi, I'm Jordan.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Matt. Yeah.
And then today, we really wanted to dive into the topic of just polyamorous relationships, multi-partner relationships, throuple. And obviously, you're the example of that we know the closest for sure. And we've spent the last, I don't know, it's been 3 years.
Pretty close.
2.5 years. That's crazy. Yeah. Just getting to know each other. I would say y'all throw the best Grammy parties. That's how I would say.
Grammys and
She
Jammies.
just
Your
happened. too.
absolute claim to fame. Okay. So getting into it, I guess my first question is just kind of like level set listeners. How do you all describe your relationship, especially to others?
What's so funny is that this first question really threw us for a loop because I don't feel like we've really had an answer on like what we tell people.
Yeah.
It's usually an natural conversation. Like someone
Yeah,
asks you about your relationship, or you're talking about relationships,
And you
and it
say
comes
like
up.
partners, and they're like, "What is that? What do you mean
Yeah.
partners?" And I'm like, "Oh, I have 2 partners," and they're like, "How does that work?" And then it's just a slew of like, "Do you live together? Do you all sleep in the same bed?" And it's just it.
Which are all great questions. But going through those motions every single time is a little tiring.
Yes.
I just got a new boss and I was talking about y'all and she was like, "Oh." I was like, just so you know, I have 2 partners and they're great, blah blah blah. And she was really nice about it. I also work at UW, so they're all super like
They're ready.
and in HIV research, and so they're all like very down. But yeah, I feel like it usually comes up pretty naturally. They're usually the ones that have more questions, which is great.
I've had some interesting responses of like, "Oh, you have partners?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got 2 partners." They're like, "That's new." I'm not kidding. I have gotten that reaction, and I was like, "Okay, interesting." And then another one of like, "Nice."
Yeah.
And then they moved on. They moved on from that conversation.
I've thought about, so I'm in school right now, online classes, and every week in most classes you do a discussion board, discussion posts, and all my classes are psychology based. So a lot of times relationships come up in our discussions, and I think about, okay, well, do I put partners when I'm talking about my partners? Do I want to get into that? Do I need to? And then next thing you know, my discussion is way too long for anyone to want to read it. So situations like that, I still just say partner and kind of just generalize. So it's kind of complex, especially when it comes to like text conversation.
Yeah.
'Cause that's just a big conversation that is a lot to have over.
Yeah.
It's like another step because like I feel like the first step when you like come out as gay is like you say like my boyfriend and people have the same response like nice. Oh
Yeah.
Oh my daughter loves gay people.
Yeah,
Things like that.
exactly.
But then I think then like the next step with
Just say my daughter loves gay people. That's just funny because it's like, and you, but not you. Just your daughter.
I have gotten that like multiple times.
I can see.
My daughter's obsessed with gay people.
Yeah.
But then like with a poly situation, I think it's like another step and another explanation and another thing.
Yes.
So like
You
I
have
think
to come out again.
Yes, and holistically, society-wise, I feel like most, and you can correct me if you feel differently, but I feel like most people are like normalized more so and exposed to like queerness, but then the poly situation is like another like a additional one. So
yeah, for
you
sure.
talk to a lot of people that
Definitely.
it's brand new for them.
Yes.
Right. So
Very much.
Especially parental and family conversations. That was the hardest. Like living in Seattle, I'm really grateful because it's actually relatively easy.
Yeah.
People kind of get it here. But yeah, it's families back home and if you're traveling, I don't know, you just never know what kind of reaction you're going to get. So
Yeah. I've had multiple people here be like, I was in a throuple once. Yeah. I did last.
That was another thing I was going to ask. Is like, do you have people that? Because I feel like sometimes people try to relate. It's like, they're like their go-to to be nice is like to relate to you.
Very much.
Yeah. Do you use the term throuple? How do you feel about the term throuple? Is it like, do you have different feelings about it?
For me, I feel like I use throuple if like when I say partners and they're like, wait, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, I'm in a throuple.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's definitely more specific than being in a poly relationship, because sometimes that can get, that's more people, like a primary partner with like lovers.
It's nuanced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it describes it the best.
Yeah. Because we're all primary partners.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
in
a
the
triangle.
relationship.
An equilateral triangle.
Sure.
There you go.
There you go.
Algebra.
that came up in the poly podcast, the poly episode, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
The triangle.
Yeah.
I think the best way, and I was kind of thinking this through earlier today, actually, like how I would describe it. And that's kind of important to contextualize for the rest of this conversation, because it kind of goes into, like conflicts and misconceptions and things like that. And it's also something that we've learned along the way too, because I mean, you don't go into a relationship like this, or really any relationship, knowing exactly what it is, how it's going to go, how to navigate it.
Yeah.
I think the important thing is to know is like, it's not just one singular relationship. There are 3 unique individual relationships within it as well. There's Jordan and Matt, Zack and Jordan, Matt and Zack. So there's 3 relationships within the relationship that you have to consider and navigate. Because if you just act like there's one relationship here, then 3 very different people are not getting needs met. They're not getting cared. There's a lot of that goes into that.
Especially because we all, I feel like, communicate and talk to each other so differently.
Right.
Like we really got to learn how to manage the relationship to make sure everyone feels seen and loved,
Yeah.
And so I feel like it has put a lot more work for us in the sense of like wanting to make this successful and be together, which is also like what I love about it.
Yeah. I would imagine you have to be a lot more intentional.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very much.
Especially with communication and like
Yes.
very much of like,
Yeah. Communication is the biggest, whenever we have an issue, it's communication. Yes.
for anyone, for everyone.
Well, that's the thing is like, it's so much like a couple relationship, just an additional person. So that you add another dimension onto what you're dealing with in any other relationship.
Yeah. So getting to that, what I want to do is dive into like, how did we get to that relationship?
sure.
And this is my understanding. I'm going to turn over you all to really, really elaborate.
Yeah.
So Jordan and Matt,
Yes.
you met in college.
Correct.
Why don't we
Yeah.
start there?
Yeah.
10 years ago, around right now.
Yep.
Actually.
It's crazy.
Around my birthday.
January 27th was the first day that we met.
Okay. Knows the actual
Yeah.
date.
Fun.
Yeah, I was in my like dorm room. We went to the University of Iowa. Don't shout them out. We went there. I was in my dorm, and we met through Tinder. That was where we met, and yeah, we just hung out like our first day.
You're also in the dorms and you lived
like a block away.
2 blocks maybe away from me. And
Yeah.
oh gosh, I hate cliches, but he was
I know.
over the first time and I was like, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different. Something's different.
And
in a good way.
And I remember telling him, I was like, oh, this is going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the first time we met, it was kind of just instant.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great. And especially because I just started dating people. I didn't know many gay people.
Yeah.
I didn't have any representative to show me how to be a queer person in college.
Yeah.
And so
I imagine Iowa's queer community is probably about similar to Montana's queer community, at least at the time. Like we had there was very limited representation, or at least any sort of like out representation.
had a gay bar and there was like
Never mind. You're already 10 states into Montana.
it's actually it's a very liberal city of Iowa.
Yeah.
And there are liberal hubs it's not enough to compensate for the rest of Iowa, but it was a safe space.
Yeah.
I thought.
And then did you start dating right away?
no, we weren't dating right away. It was more of,
Dating, messing around.
yeah, dating, messing around, and just seeing each other often, not really putting a label on it yet. And then 3 months later, then we like made it official.
Okay. I remember that date.
What is that?
16th.
There you go.
Wonderful.
Okay. Okay. So then you start dating. And then during that time of dating, in that 10 years, were there other multi-partner relationships, throuple relationships prior to poor Zack was ever
Sorry, poor Zach.
in the view?
I think the main turning point, I think.
He's a poor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I heard poor. Right?
I said before.
Zach, not poor Zach.
I said before Zach was ever into you.
I mean, he is victimized by us on the daily basis. So.
And then you were repeating me saying poor, but I said before. And that's how that
So
happens.
I think the turning point of our relationship where we were open to new things was he had a good friend who I was very, very attracted to, a very lovely person. We went to a pride trip in Chicago. We were in a closed, like, monogamous relationship.
Yeah.
And we were all just like out for Pride weekend, and I just so badly wanted. I couldn't resist the aura of this other person.
Yeah.
And I think we were like all in bed together, like not doing anything, but like I just like started like initiating things with him, and I remember you were so mad at me. And
Apparently.
it's okay if you remember. I mean, this is core relationship memory.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I didn't go any further than just like feeling up, maybe a little kissing, and then we got back to Iowa, and we like really had to sit down and like have the conversation of like, was that okay? Like, that's not really something we ever really discussed, and we came to terms with the fact that we would somewhat open our relationship to people who we like approved of. You know, we had to in advance kind of tell them what our intention was with meeting up with this person, but this person was our good friend.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we didn't have like, it wasn't like you're meeting up with someone you don't know or don't trust or anything like that. I ended up hooking up with him separately when they were out one night. It was really fun, and it felt new, but I remember feeling a lot of guilt, like even just doing that when you weren't there, because it's just not, I mean, monogamy is so ingrained into us
Culturally,
that
everything.
it's like you can have so much fun in the moment, and then you like look back and you're like, oh my God, should I have done that?
to, like,
Am I going to
regret.
like ruin the relationship? Is Matt not going to trust me anymore? I mean, I told him everything we did, blah, 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 blah. But from then on, that's kind of like sparked the like sexually open. That didn't change how we felt in terms of like romantic relationships with other people. But that was kind of the push. And I don't think that really, I don't want to speak for y'all, but I don't think that really changed until we moved here and started talking to Zack.
I don't think I was ever emotionally open to wanting a third person in our relationship until we met Zack.
Yeah.
I know I wasn't.
Was that open to it?
Yeah, because I remember when you started to have feelings for Zack, I was initially like, oh, can you take a step back and can we
A lot
talk
of
about
checking
it?
in.
A lot of checking in.
Which we still do.
Yeah, and just see where it goes. But then we all started hanging out, and it was like, it just made sense.
Interesting. Okay. So you went for a really long time living in like really
Yeah,
like
it was
this
6 years before we like were officially like, well, it wasn't officially. We didn't like feel like announce it to each other, but it was.
Well, the open relationship had started long before that, and that was working fine. I also don't think we met anybody and seriously hung out with anybody to the degree that we did him, and also clicked with the degree that we did with Zack. And so I don't know if you want to talk about
now I want to hear like how did you meet Zack? I think you've maybe told us before, but
in the true version, because I have a live version, but I tell a lot of like just people who are like
We met at a game night party. That's what we.
Which
that's
technically is what it was called.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I know what you mean. There's different PR versions for everything.
Before that, even though Matt and I chatted on Grindr, maybe
on Instagram,
3 or 4 months before we had ever met in person.
Yep.
And then
you guys actually met up, right?
it was only a couple of weeks before we met.
Okay.
But then Jordan and I were talking on Instagram, and that's how we ended up.
Or did we? It's the truth, This is why I love like when we talk to our friends, because we like learn so much. Sorry,
Yeah.
not to interrupt, but
Yeah, messages with Matt on Grindr didn't go anywhere. But
Apparently.
and then I was talking to Jordan on Instagram, and I think that's where we ended up. It was on your birthday.
my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something else.
were you like keenly aware that they're together?
Yeah. I knew they were together, but like the conversations with Matt were months prior, and I wasn't really like.
We like
There
had
wasn't, like,
talked
a
about
cognitive
meeting up,
component and
getting
thinking about
together, and it just again.
But Jordan was easier.
You know, that's
he's a
probably true. So I'm not sending this to my family.
So yeah, we hooked up on your birthday, and then I think shortly after that, we had mutual friends who were having a game night party.
Game night in quotes. We put air quotes up for game night.
Okay, fun.
For
Fun.
I mean, there were games. And I let in other things.
Yeah, it was video games, food, it was a party. Anyway, so yeah, that's how we all met in person.
So it was the first time all three of you were like in the same
We
place.
had met in person.
I do want to address something about the party. They did not hook up with a single other person there. They were so obsessed with each other.
Yeah.
I had already met him before then.
Yeah.
But you two were like not interested in anybody else, which happens. But also I could tell like they were very into each other.
And then a few days later, I came over to hang out with you, really just to hang out. And we had conversations. I remember asking you how you defined your relationship, like what sort of relationship you were in. And you said you were sexually open, but that was
remember
it.
this. Yes.
But anyway, I was on my way out and were just getting home from work and somehow Game of Thrones got brought up.
Yeah.
So we lived really close to each other. So we decided we were going to rewatch Game of Thrones together because we were all ready.
Yep.
And that's a commitment. That's 85 hours.
I don't know what is.
And it was immediate. Like we need to watch this all together.
Yeah, I still can't get Tyler to watch it.
And honestly, really,
We've tried.
we're rewatching it right now.
Right now. It is happening right now.
He's watched the first season.
For the 7th
Oh
time.
my god,
for
it
me.
just gets better from there.
Yeah.
We'll watch it with you
Sorry.
if you don't want to.
Me too. I'll come over.
But it might end up in a quintuple. Quintuple.
But yeah. So we were watching Game of Thrones. It was, I kid you not, it was every day he was over watching Game of Thrones until we finished it.
And then we were like, what are we?
And then, we all had a conversation when we were all laying down in bed.
I mean, we went to concerts and we went to Vancouver.
Spending a lot of really quality time that felt more. It wasn't sex anymore. It was very much like relationship based.
But Game of Thrones was like a catalyst. That's what got us hanging out constantly.
Blood of my
Also, the
blood.
sex was lovely, so that does help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great foundation.
Yes, it is.
For sure.
But I do remember laying in that bed and I think you two had told your parents by then that you were like maybe talking. I don't know about you, Matt, but I know for sure you were talking to your mother that you were like hanging out with these two boys that you really enjoyed and they were a couple together. And I remember laying in that bed and all this like feelings and build up, and you said it best. And I think this is what you said. You're like, if there's no other word for what you're feeling, it's love.
Yeah. Because we were all like laying
really
there.
good. Yeah.
Because we were all just laying in bed and trying to figure out like what are we doing here? What are we trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
And honestly, at that point, we all kind of looked at each other like, I am having these feelings for these two people that feel equal. And
Beyond sex, it's not lust.
It's not lust. It's like I want them both here with me. Like what is this? And then I think we all said it kind of at the same time. Like I think we love each other. And then he moved in like a month later.
Yeah.
That's the
Days
end.
move fast.
It was like
Saved money.
So as we talk about different relationships within the relationship, were there also conversations, Matt, that you and Jordan were having?
Oh yeah.
To being
very
like, how are we feeling about this?
Yeah.
6 years of just being us two. We haven't really done this before in terms of a romantic,
Yes, because there got to a point of him being over all the time, and we were not necessarily neglecting our relationship together, but it was more of like, okay,
We hadn't had time
we
to
didn't, we didn't have time for just us.
you were
And,
like leaning into this, like riding the wave almost of like,
And it was difficult to communicate. However, it wasn't
Like, did you two have to have a conversation with each other? It was like,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
are you feeling what I'm feeling? And are we all headed towards the same thing?
Yes,
And it's that thing, Zack.
because we both needed to be on the same page in regards to our feelings for sets. Because if it was going to be uneven and someone was going to feel some type of way for pursuing this more, then it was like, I don't think we could.
I don't remember a specific time of being like, okay, we're all like in a relationship together, but I definitely remember checking in with you and being like, yes, are these the same? Are we having the same feelings? Are they the same intensity too? Right? Because consent is huge, and it's like I don't want to push him into a relationship with someone else if he's only half in it.
Yeah.
But it did very much seem equal.
Yeah.
And I think that's just how we ended up being okay with everything that was going on.
Yeah. But in a sense of our relationship, we kind of had to go through the mindset of being like, okay, our relationship isn't necessarily done or through with. We're going on to a new phase of it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be different.
Kind of growing with each other.
Yes,
Being like,
because
I think this is where we
just
are.
us together was very different than all three of us.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's definitely a new phase of a relationship. Especially we were 6 years in, so we were like obviously deep in it.
Yeah. Okay, so now all three of you, you've been together for how long?
4 years.
Nice. Okay.
4 years.
Okay.
We're
my-
a toddler.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're all once you're all together, then it comes, you kind of have to go through this like coming out again, I feel like, in a way, and being like, okay, we're in a relationship together. Kind of talk us through, what was it like with your friends, which I would imagine is probably the easiest layer, right? But then as you lean into like friends and family, and especially your families that have known you two together for 6 years. Can you kind of talk about that?
I think we should
it was
all talk
harder
about
for
our
you,
own
too.
family.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
I wanna hear it.
Split it up.
Just for background, I grew up in the Midwest. My family is like not necessarily close-minded, but they do lean to the right side.
Very like conservative, traditional.
Yes.
Anything that's like new or different or
Correct.
not something they're used to.
Very much.
I think, yeah.
But to be honest, when I told them that Jordan, because how I would phrase it, I was like, oh, Jordan and I are dating Zach.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was so easy. I had no problems. They were like, oh, okay, can't wait to meet him. Like,
That's awesome.
they were really open and accepting. And my grandparents at the time were like, what is this? What's going on?
Yeah.
I don't think fully understood it at the time. Now, like, my grandma's passed, but my grandpa also for Christmas got both of them a Christmas gift.
Yeah.
And like, they understand now that it's
Just kind of take them on the path of being like, this is what this is.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Zach, for you, obviously very different because you're telling your parents, I'm dating people,
Yeah.
you know, so.
My parents are so easy and so cool. It wasn't really challenging. It was just weird. It's like uncomfortable to say, regardless of what your parents think. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. So hard.
But like one of you said earlier, I was talking to my mom maybe a month or two into us hanging out, and I was like, told her, I was like, oh, I have feelings for for this couple. Like, I have no idea if anything can ever come of this. And, you know, she's super motherly and cool. And she's like, you know, just make sure you are being careful and protecting your own feelings. And there's only so much you can do, you know, all the mom things. And like, it was really helpful and great. But ultimately telling them when we were officially what we are, it was easy. It was like my grandparents and my great aunt.
Love her.
That was weird.
Yeah.
My great aunt, yeah. We all love her. But she, I think she still says like, say hi to your friends for me. Say hi to your roommates or whatever. Yeah.
Roommates.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she knows that, but no, and none of it was difficult for me, fortunately.
Yeah.
I'm really grateful.
Very
for that.
fortunate for.
Okay, Jordan, what about you?
My parents are.
This was very surprising for me, the reaction that they got. I was not expecting this type of reaction from them.
My parents and my whole family are super liberal. But I know my parents, and like when I came out, it makes sense to talk about this because when I came out, it was actually because my PrEP prescription had charged to my parents' insurance. That was how I was like
modern.
I was outed.
They were like,
by
what is this
the
pill?
U.S. medical system.
Jordan, there's a lawsuit there. You got
Yeah.
And so my
violation.
parents call me in a panic while I'm at college thinking that I have
I remember
HIV.
this call,
Like literally they're like, "Oh my God, are you dying?" Like that was literally their reaction. They're also super Jewish, so everything is very dramatic.
Yeah.
And so when this came up, they had the same reaction of like, "Oh my God, are you being safe? Like, what does this mean for your past relationship?" They didn't really believe in it. And even when he moved in, and even when we bought our house,
They were like, "Is
together,
this
they
actually a
still were like super, like very hesitant.
sounds like
about
they're
it.
Well, it's just they're being protective.
Like,
Yeah. No, and it wasn't like they weren't okay with it. That's not what I'm trying to say. But like, they're just like chronic warriors. It's part of the Jewish gene.
Yeah. He has this gene.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so they're always kind of catastrophizing situations where like I understand the concern about, you know, buying a house with 3 people and like all having your name on like it's all a risk.
Right.
But I had to come back to them and be like, well, it's a risk just being with Matthew. Like it's nothing is certain.
Yeah.
Well, no, I didn't mean it like that. But, like just being in a relationship in general, it's a risk that you take, and of course, like adding another facet, adding another person does make it a little bit more complicated. But the risk doesn't change all that much.
Yeah,
and so
no.
I really had to kind of push them through how this doesn't really change. Like Matt's still going to be around, and Zach's a great person, and they've really come around to it. And you know, they get us all gifts for like we're all included. But it was a lot more difficult than like if you would have turned to us and been like, whose parents are going to have the most issue with it or have the hardest time digesting it, I wouldn't have guessed mine just based off of like political affiliation, which was very interesting that it did not go that way.
But now I'm everyone's favorite.
No. Sure. And my mom as like, I'm surprised you were worried about his mom because mine is a character.
Yeah.
Love her. Love you.
I feel like it's a really good lesson in just like queer culture too.
Yeah.
Is I feel like people look at it and they're like, oh, you have liberal parents, you're fine.
Yeah.
And that isn't always the case, because at the end of the day, like, they're still parents and they still inherently worry. So if you have any sort of thing that like is an outlier potentially, or makes you othered or different in any sort of way, they just like worry about you and sort of like, are you going to be okay being outside of the norm? And they don't necessarily care that they don't care about the thing that's putting you outside. But they're worried about just like making sure that you're always protected. It's like so intuitive. So,
Yes.
And it's like, so everything they do and everything they approach.
Yep.
So I think that's a surprise to people, or like people are surprised by that when you tell them that like maybe your liberal parents didn't have like the same reaction you think. Because like my parents are really liberal, but my mom specifically had a really hard time with me coming out. But it was more so of like letting go of the idea of everything in her head that she thought was gonna be my life.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with political affiliation. It was more so like her letting this honestly image go away.
Yep.
It's a little bit
And get
selfish.
replaced with this different dream. Yeah.
Well, it also, it doesn't really matter how liberal or open to things you are. We still all grow up with these life scripts and these cultural norms that even if you don't think they're necessarily right for everybody or what you should live by, it's still there. It's still what we know. So it can be really uncomfortable, even for ourselves, I think, to come out of that and realize that what we want, what we're doing is okay.
Yeah. Because I remember my mom being like, oh, so are you and Jordan not going to get married now? Like, are you not going to have kids? Like, what does that look like? And like, to be honest, we never, this idea of marriage was not something that we ever, and correct me if I'm wrong, was like ever something we talked about.
No, I think we were on the trajectory.
Yeah, for sure.
But
It wasn't like a
don't-
need or a want. It was just like, I just want to be with Jordan because I love him and I want.
and to share medical insurance.
Yeah.
Exactly. Precise.
But no, I agree with that.
Yeah. Let's get into the communication of it all, because I feel like a lot of questions are just like, how do you manage conflict? How do you celebrate? How do you manage those interpersonal relationships with each other without all three of you? So I would say, first off, just like general communication. What are the things that you've learned? Think previous relationships before all three of you and how those were based and how you communicated. What are things that you've learned in your relationship together that has really just like changed, or it's different, or the same?
Well, it's a constant evolving learning process.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Not in a bad way though. Like it is all beneficial of figuring out what works for us.
We've done several different things. For a while, we were doing a weekly check-in. Like one night of the week, we would all come together. Sometimes we'd have a list of things to talk about.
It's like very structured. Yeah.
Yeah. And, we'd talk about events, talk about how everyone's feeling, anything that came up that week that we want to talk about. And honestly, I mean, it's super helpful. We've kind of fallen out of that a little bit. We still occasionally we'll come back and be like, okay, we should probably do a check-in.
It was one yesterday.
We did one yesterday. And we
kind of
should
to talk about
probably, I think it's still even on our calendar, which is the other thing we do.
Every Sunday.
The
But
shared calendar. That's a big thing.
yeah, we started, this was maybe a year ago, or maybe we started a shared calendar just to, on our Apple account, whatever.
Yeah.
And we each have our own color that we put our events in, and then we have a color for the group if it's a group event, so we'll put things on there.
The one thing I feel like that had benefited us the most was, and I was hesitant with this for some reason, was the 2 separate group chats of having one that's just fuck around, whatever. The other being important things that we need to talk about.
We'll get buried. Like,
Oh yeah.
Jordan loves to send 20 text messages with, one word each.
I've been on a couple.
my texting style is very aggressive.
And so I feel like that has helped us a lot of organizing, of talking about important things, trips, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other is just
Because not only is it 3 people, it's now 3 families that have expectations of you to be places and do things. And
that in itself. Yeah.
all of us have decently large families, and so it's definitely interesting. But in terms of I want to bring it back to communication, as a throuple, and about, I think in the beginning, and I don't want to speak for you, maybe you can speak more about it. Zach struggled a lot with jealousy, and it wasn't really between us two, because we decided that when all 3 of us got together that we were not going to have a monogamous throuple. We weren't just going to close it off to the 3 of us, and we were going to still go out and have fun with other people, barring whatever rules we had set up. And I think looking back on it, I'm not regret that we did it. Like, I think it would have been a little bit more beneficial had we kind of just closed it off for a little bit and kind of focused on the three of us, because I think you really struggled with feeling like you could lose this at any moment because it was so new.
Yeah.
Because in Jordan and I's mindset, we were like, oh, we're locked in. We want to have Zach with us. But Zach is in a different position.
And
Just, like,
doesn't have that security.
Doesn't have the security.
Foundation. Yep.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were trailblazers? Did you feel alone? Did you feel like in a lot of areas you were? But it sounds like you actually knew people that had a lot of advice.
Yeah. I think they gave us a good place to start.
Yeah.
I also want to say we are not trailblazers. There's
No.
I feel like this has definitely happened. I feel like maybe
More so,
for,
do you feel like you were by yourself? Like, did you feel like you didn't have like outside resources?
I've personally still feel like, yes, in a sense of like we've gotten to this point where we're in a flow. Yeah. Our communication has gotten better. We have people we can talk about it with. However, we don't know any other throuples.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, yeah.
We don't. They're there.
well, I also will
There's
say
still
the
on
ones.
Instagram who think
Yeah.
they're influencers.
Yes,
but-
and I will say that there
is
are
great.
and they are not together anymore.
Yes.
well,
Oh no,
There's a
there will
couple.
be no names.
But I would say like trailblazer from the standpoint of a lot of people in your friends and family groups.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's certain situations, this sounds like way up my own asshole, but there's certain situations just being where we're from and the lack of exposure that we had growing up or like people around us had. I do think there's like an element of trailblazing in that you're like the first throuple that people have been close to and known, right?
Yeah.
I'd say
So
so.
from that aspect, I think you are that for people. So don't sell yourself short.
No, that's a
No, I
good
appreciate
point. I
it.
mean,
Yeah. I never really thought about it that way because
my two best friends who you guys have met, Millie and Hannah, who are always at the Grammys party, they ask such like amazing, like deep questions about like how this works and blah blah blah, and I want to think that it's kind of helped them possibly in their own relationships about like dealing with things with
I think it helps us when they ask those questions.
yeah. Oh, they're like
it's- you
they
don't-
probe.
Yeah,
I love
think
it.
about all
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things until someone asks you, and then
Yes.
you're like,
Oh, they are probers. I know y'all are going to be listening to this too. Shout them out.
they'll just dig and dig.
And that's what I need. And also, like, it also makes, like you were saying, like, it makes us think a lot deeper about how we've navigated all this stuff. And I'm hopeful that it gives them insight into different facets of future relationships that they have. Maybe not being poly, but being more open to different situations, whatever that may be, and not like picturing a relationship as something that's perfect. Not that I think they do that, but again, it's
I
hard.
mean, they have this idea of what a relationship is, and
We've changed.
we've changed that idea for them.
I think that's important for everybody is not to hold yourself back from something because you don't think society wants you to do that, or you think society doesn't want you to do that.
Yeah. Or just because you don't have anyone else around you that's doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, just
yeah.
like that was like the whole premise of us coming out. It's like, well, I didn't see anybody who was successful or or even like exist that I can think of that was like an adult gay man. That's like they're okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't have bad examples either. We just had none.
Yeah.
It was
Right.
like this isn't a reality. This doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
In our life. Yeah, personal lives. Yep. I think it's great relationship advice too. The like structured check-ins. That sounds so therapy-esque to the generation before us. But like, they're like, you mean you set a meeting where you sit there and you talk to your partner about things?
How you're feeling?
When you're not angry? What do you mean? You know what I mean? Like but like Tyler and I really implemented that. Just but I think a lot of it is like our relationship was bound in best friendship.
Yeah.
And so us like coming together and being like, here's my issues. Like it felt normal. It was like almost like a maintenance conversation.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like checking in.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to
I
put
think
it.
that's
Yeah.
great advice for any kind of relationship. And it's just like bringing things to the table in a moment that's not heated. It's intentional. Like it's honestly like coming up on the calendar and you're like, hey, just so you know, and then like make it fun and be like, hey, we're going to cook dinner.
Yep.
And then we bring like our little sticky note of things we want to talk about. And some of them are like fun and exciting. Some of them are like checking in about like sex or relationships with your friends and being like that kind of stuff. And just like a true check-in. And then also I think we call them paper cuts, just kind of a corporate term, but it's like, what are the things that are just like really bugging me right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think normally in traditional relationships, and not traditional, but like the history of relationships, people bring those in moments of anger and they like throw them in there, right? But I think when you have these check-ins that are just like, this is what's bugging me and I'm not mad about it right now, but I've been mad about it or I've been carrying it. I think it just kind of levels the playing field and like you can actually progress in your relationship and get to like
Well, I think what
resolution and growth.
what the check-ins really did for us, I think, is made us think about the intentionality of what we are concerned about, and it gave us a moment to think introspectively of why we're feeling a certain way for a certain situation.
It was also helpful because I feel like sometimes like some of us don't want to talk about the things in the moment because that's just our like coping strategy. It's like if it's bothering me, I feel like I'm more of like I need to talk about it right now.
Yes.
But I know some of us are not. And so to bring it up when everybody is not heated anymore, and like especially for conflict resolution, they were very helpful.
So y'all have natural roles that you fall into. Like,
Yeah.
is one of you very much the harmonizer?
I thought you were asking like
Why don't you
around the
1,
house.
2, 3? You're all gonna point at someone at the table of who's the harmonizer. 3, 2, 1.
I guess. Yeah. Well, I'd say, I think a lot of the times Jordan does like to be the mediator in the situation, because I think Zach and I tend to be more stubborn in our feelings and communication.
You guys tend to fall on the outskirts, and
Yes.
I'm like, oh well, we can meet in the middle and sing songs, and we can agree with each other and all that. I also don't do well when there's tension, like unspoken. Like I need it to be solved because it physically makes me ill.
Like, is it like you lean into conflict, or you feel more so like you need to get rid of it? Like you need to squash it?
I need it. Yes.
That.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. I
Got
need
it,
it to
got
be
it.
okay.
Whereas I think Zach and I are very different in
Yes.
that
And they
aspect.
can ruminate, and I cannot.
Yeah.
I'm a ruminator. I have no fear of conflict. I'm like, I'm gonna sit on that and then I'm gonna come back.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's healthy to talk about it and have conflict. I don't want that to
disagree with
become.
that.
But like at the end of the conversation, like I need a resolution. Yes.
I don't like waiting, so I'm a classic like 4 minutes to go to bed, and I'll be like, "Are you still mad at me?"
Oh yeah.
Literally 4 minutes.
Well, I went through a whole phase because I also felt like I know you felt somewhat insecure in the beginning of our relationship, thinking that we could leave. Like worst case scenario, we could leave him at any moment. I also felt. Oh, I definitely was like, felt like he could just get up and leave whenever he wanted as
Right.
well. So my thing that I always did, and I don't do it anymore. If you've noticed, they used to be like, "Do you love me? Do you love me?" Do you love me?" No.
And I never knew if it was serious or if he was just joking around.
Yeah.
Some of it was serious. Some of it was probably joking.
They were like ready to get back to playful, and Tyler's like that too. And I'm like, you're gonna have to wait till like at least tomorrow. Like I'm gonna need a full sleep cycle.
Yes.
And 2 meals.
Yes.
And some time to myself and some video games, and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
Tyler just
Yes.
doesn't operate like that. I always say the worst marriage. I've said this like 100 times on this podcast, but the worst marriage advice, the most like stereotypical, was like, just never go to sleep mad. Just don't go to sleep mad. And I'm like, no, bitch, I need to go to sleep, or this will not
see.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I so agree, and I feel exactly.
See, I'm a believer in that. I cannot.
No, I'm like, I'm
I
going to sleep.
cannot.
Yeah, you can stay over there.
I'm so in the middle too, because sometimes
I disagree.
depending on what it is, like I won't bring it up, but sometimes I'll be laying in bed like I need to just no. That's you.
Yeah, you are a heifer and puffer.
No.
No, I'll be laying in bed being like, should I just like, do we need to just talk about this right now, or just
And I'm
go to
always like,
sleep?
yes,
And
please.
he's like, yes, and I feel like you're like, just go to sleep and we'll talk about it later. I don't know, but I think there's more things that we can try and learn too. Like I think a lot of time when there's conflict between two of us, I don't think it needs to be all three of us trying to resolve it.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing
And that's
for
what
me
we,
to come
yeah, that's
to
what we
terms with.
often do. And I think that third person sometimes can make it worse.
Yeah,
or
it's
just,
like-
or just not help.
That's a really good point. That
But we
like,
haven't really tried that much.
Yeah.
We solve conflict pretty well one-on-one, but we're together a lot more often. I feel like when he's out of town, we don't really get into conflict much.
No.
It's me. Hi.
But, so that I feel like if we did it one-on-one more often, I feel like we could. So I think that's something to work on too, not butting in when you're that third person, and not like any of us do that all the time. But I think we often want to make sure all three of us are there, and I don't know if that's necessarily the right thing to do.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because I never thought about like managing conflict between two people within Throuples, in the sense of
Yeah.
the third person. You can have an option. You can be like, okay, I'm here to help, or you can
Yes.
kind of be like,
I'm gonna fall back.
it's you two.
I mean,
Well,
yeah,
sometimes
because-
as a third person,
you kind of need to talk to them about a certain situation that made you upset.
Yeah.
Because they're the only person that knows. Like
it's like they know the details, but they don't. Yeah.
Like, and getting the advice or reassurance from one another, I think, is what we seek when we have conflict and we want to, you know, try to figure it out.
Well, there's a lot that goes into that third person. That third person is either panicking because your two partners are fighting. You're like, what do I do?
Me.
What's going to happen? Or you really want that third person, if you're in the conflict, you want that third person to
back you up.
To back you up.
yeah, to
Exactly.
back
You're
you up
looking
and
for
confirm what you're
looking for an
feeling.
ally.
Yep.
And then there's another one
Then
too.
it gets fishy.
And then it's like a
it
dog pile
Yeah,
on
and
one
then it's dog
person.
piles. Because that does happen.
Yep.
Very much does happen.
Yeah. Like,
We are not here saying we have it all figured out.
Yeah.
That is the last thing that we're covering on this podcast saying.
Yeah.
We're navigating.
Yes.
I still would like be open to like going to like a throuple therapy thing.
Oh, yeah.
I've always said that.
Yeah.
I've never actually done it.
Yeah.
We've never actually done it.
No, I think it'd be.
But I think it'd be really interesting to get like some neutral like
Yeah.
Getting that
perspective, and then also ways of like just different ways of navigating conflict that we haven't thought about or
Yeah.
Because I think it's helpful too, and Tyler and I have been having this conversation lately too about therapy in general, like individual versus any kind of like group or couple or whatever therapy. There's this piece with group therapy or multi-person therapy where it removes your ability to be an untrustworthy narrator. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's like when you're sitting there one-on-one with your therapist and it's you, it's like, well, they have to believe me
Yeah.
because they're only going to get this from my point of view.
Yep.
So I do feel like there's a ton of value in that accountability between people with an independent therapist.
Yes.
well,
See, I think
we
that's what I
we
would
went to the
strive
same
Yeah.
therapist for a while, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
separately.
Separately.
Okay, yeah.
But
Yeah.
same one. And we started realizing that like it's not really helping us together. It might be helping us individually, but together they're kind of like, at least this person seemed like they were kind of just like feeding into how we were. I mean, it's kind of what a therapist does, is like confirm your feelings and let you talk about yourself.
Yeah.
But like we would come together, it would just.
I think it made the conflict worse.
Searching for. Like
Yeah.
I wanted more advice on how to maneuver this relationship. I wanted more, not just me
It's not
individually.
the right kind of therapy.
It's like
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
very
So-
different things
yeah.
with very different goals.
Which
Yes.
also is something hard to find, like
Yeah.
a therapist that specializes in polyamory
Yeah.
and like multiple partner relationships and knows how to give sound like
Yeah.
I don't think it really
evidence-based
has to though, because I mean, at the end, again, we still have our individual relationships, and I think any sort of relationship therapy helps that in some ways. But yeah, I mean, I think there probably is the right therapist who is more knowledgeable or trained in polyamory. And
Yeah.
that
I
kind of
mean,
thing,
it's got to
but-
be,
Because it is nuanced.
it's already obviously happening, but I would imagine it's very much like a lane of therapy that people are going into and will become more popular and hopefully accessible. So,
right.
okay, so shifting a little bit. So from communication, I want to talk about how do you make the like big decisions, like the big life decisions. You want to buy a house, you want to move, you whatever it may be.
I want to start by saying that I hate change.
Okay, okay.
And so I feel like we're going to Europe in March, and it gives me it overwhelms me to plan stuff like that, or like things like moving and like all of that. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll take the reins. I'm just gonna show up, be a little passenger princess, and go on the trip. No, like the house was.
I mean, we were at a point where we were living in like a tiny ass.
Yeah, we were in a one bedroom,
bedroom studio apartment in
Yeah.
Belltown, and we were like, we need
Space.
We need space.
Yep.
It's 3 people now. 2 people was okay, but now we have an extra body, extra stuff, extra food, and like just everything.
Yep.
And so we all, kind of collectively decided that. But in regards to like, I feel like for me, I do a lot of things and do a lot of things for myself without a lot of discussion from you two, hoping that it won't get in the way from whatever they want to do. I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, something. Well, I want to touch on the house thing. That was a surprisingly easy decision for such a massive
Yes.
decision.
Yeah.
I feel like we handled that really well
Looking
compared to a lot of other smaller things.
Yeah. I mean, people are trying to do that aren't in relationships. They're
Right.
like, hey, let's pool our money together.
Yeah.
And it's 2026 and get a home. So,
But as far as generally, I mean, that at times has been a source of conflict. It's been the calendar thing has helped with a lot of that. But yeah, it's hard because again, like sometimes you have a conversation with one person, you have to remember that the other person wasn't a part of that. So when you're making big decisions, you have to make sure everybody has all the
Kind of
information.
over communicate. Like all the big
over-communicate.
things you want to do.
Is one of you like more of a decision maker?
I know who.
So do you give it to someone and you're like, okay,
I
just
know
do
who
it?
is not a decision maker, and
It depends on what the
It depends
decision
on what
is.
it is.
Yeah.
Daily, like
okay, I'm gonna give you.
Yeah.
Where are you eating? Who's deciding?
Not me.
Ooh, it's Matt because he's not
I'm
a
a moody eater.
He's a moody eater. He's not a picky eater. He's a
not
moody
a
eater.
moody
It has
eater.
to sound good. It has to sound good in the moment, or he won't go.
Change your Instagram handle to that.
Yeah, I'm
Moody
eater.
Yeah. What other ones do you have? I mean, like big life decisions. I feel like I'm thinking of like marriage and like kids. Like marriage is not a possibility.
Yeah.
In the way
We
that
don't have that
in the way
ability.
that I wish it was. Yeah. That's what it is.
Do you feel like that's something that's missing, or do you feel like if it were an option today, would you be the first in line to do it?
Honestly, the only thing that I can
not.
think of that it would be like to be able to like share health insurance. Like literally, that is the only thing.
Yeah, the legal aspects of it.
Because like we are already legally bound by our house.
Yep.
Which was almost in a way like a binding contract between the three of us that we could actually hold together.
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't give you like visitation rights at like a hospital. But yeah, I mean, if it was legal tomorrow, I don't necessarily think it would. They think we would rush to like do it.
And there's probably just a lot more things you have to think about too of legality, and paperwork and stuff, where it's like there are laws that exist that protect a married couple, right? Like by state. Like in Washington, if one of us dies, like all of your shit goes to your partner.
Yep.
In your all's case, you very much have to be proactive, know that shit beforehand, and then I'm sure get a lawyer, write it down, like what happens, any sort of like will, anything. You just have to be so much more proactive.
I think Zach really, I feel like big decisions you're actually better with.
I would say this can be a perception from the outside.
Yes.
It seems like with larger decisions, Zach may be leading the charge.
We also were usually the one to bring them up.
Like personality-wise, it seems like Zach is
Buying a house was your idea.
Yep.
Wanting to sell our house was your idea. Which we've looked into.
Wanting to move with his idea.
Okay, we've got the idea, man. Okay.
But follow through.
Yeah.
I have that same problem, Zach. That is me. I love ideas.
I'm a very logistical person. I need very concrete things. Things like the calendar, I think, was my idea. Like starting the calendar and like budgeting kind of stuff I bring up all the time. We don't really do it, at least together. Yeah. So like all of these kind of like all those ideas I come up with and can lead and make decisions.
But put him in the cereal aisle.
But like,
put him in the cereal aisle. He will leave without buying cereal because he's so overwhelmed.
You and I are very similar. Where I'm like, no, we need cereal.
Yeah.
But Tyler picked the cereal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. But I'm very much like, we need to do this, we need to do this. And Tyler's like, okay, then do it. I'm like, no. No.
Yeah.
So on the reverse side of that, what are some of the things that you do as we talk about a diagram of multiple relationships and managing them all at once?
Yeah.
What do you do to manage your individual relationships with each other?
I feel like we all try to do things like couples. wise.
Yeah.
Like date nights with just one of each other.
Yep.
It's something that
I mean, me and Zach went on trips. It was just me and Zach that went to Puerto Rico in September to see Bad Bunny. Jordan went off to Hawaii for that week. So that was the big thing. Even going home to Chicago, half the time it's just Jordan and I there. But I mean, not that Zach doesn't have family there, but sometimes it's just us two. Date nights.
Just me.
Yeah, sometimes it's alone.
Probably depends like on interest too.
Yes.
Overlapping interest in one thing, so then you're gonna want to like do that. Like if it's a concert or something, or going out or whatever. I feel like you probably get into like a rhythm of like, well, this is something that I know Zach's gonna be interested in.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Very much gotten used to going out alone.
Yes, I don't do that. But I think in regards to keeping like the couple, like, individually wise, I love to see them doing things together. Yeah, I think the big word of the
better
day,
get the dictionary out.
the big dictionary.
I know what you're gonna
say. Compersion.
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 Yes.
That is also something that we are all still working on.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yep. It's kind of a unique emotion that we've not really, society hasn't really explored. And I feel like I learned that word in the last year and was like, oh my God, that's how I get it.
Yep. And so just the idea of like, oh, they're gonna go, get Ethiopian food together or something like that. That is what I want. But I think we all struggle with it.
It's not I think that's I think the most natural place for something like compersion is like parent-child relationship. Like a parent probably feels more compersion than anybody else, but that's not normal in relationships, I feel. At least in like the normal society's idea of a relationship. So yeah, it's a very new feeling to have to navigate.
Yep. And for those listeners who don't know, or I can't remember, I think we talked about it before, but compersion is the experience of feeling joy, happiness, or compersion-fueled euphoria when a partner experiences pleasure, love, or excitement with someone else.
Yes.
So it's kind of just like being excited
Yes.
for them doing something that you were removed from personally.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And I think generally, like, because we're in a throuple, like, we have to have some form of like
you have to be able to,
compersion.
you have to like lean into that.
Yes.
But it does get tricky when people want to do stuff alone or by themselves, whether it's a trip that they want to take or a boy they want to meet up with, or you know, like those feelings all come up. The jealousy can still flare, but addressing it and like acknowledging it is important.
Pretty much a dual-sided coin to the same situation that might be happening.
It's so complex too, because sometimes I'll feel it,
Yeah.
and then in the exact same situation another time, it's full on jealousy.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm like, why can I enjoy it this one time, but then now, nah. Obviously there's probably a lot of contextual information that goes into each particular experience, but yeah, it's not always jealousy or always compersion. It's gonna go back and forth. You're gonna feel both all the time.
You can feel both at the same time.
Right, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask the obvious question that I'm sure you guys get all the time and you're sick of, but I want to know. We've known you for 2.5 years. What's the sleeping situation?
Oh.
How does that work?
Yeah, that's a
And
great
how has
question.
that evolved?
Well, we first started with just a king bed.
Yeah, and that
at
was
the time
very
we were
much
all
the honeymoon period.
Yeah, when we're
of our
all like
relationship.
loving and wanting to be close.
Us too.
It was fun. It was great. We wanted to be on top of each other. That faded quickly. There was a point where we were in our studio apartment and I was sleeping out on like our blow-up mattress and they were in the bed because I was just too hot.
Yeah.
Because temperature in a room with 3 people is definitely a dividing factor. What we found is that we got our king bed and then a twin XL and we just shoved them together.
Bam.
And it's the same size as a family bed.
Yeah.
It's ginormous.
It's huge. It takes up our entire room. And we took 2 little nightstands. One person does not have a nightstand though. So that does get frustrating. When I was sleeping in the middle, I'm no longer in the middle.
I should have been sleeping in the middle of the whole. I'm currently in the middle
Yes.
and living my best life.
Yeah.
Do you get asked that all the time?
All the time.
like the first
Every
question.
single
Oh
time.
yeah. That's one of
sure.
the first questions for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very.
I knew it was like,
You've seen the bed, right?
Yes.
No, okay.
but when I first met you guys, I was like, I didn't want to ask because I knew that's like, I'm sure that's the thing they always get asked. But then we went to your house and I was like, wait, I want to see their room.
I know.
I have for a long time and still am considering sleeping in a different room because I love my space and I like curating my own space, and it's a lot easier to sleep by yourself.
That's another thing that I think like it's so ingrained in us where we're like, if you're in a relationship and you're not, if for some reason logically you're not sleeping somewhere else, then something's wrong.
Or that you're just roommates. then.
Yeah. It's so weird.
And I struggle with that because I love to be in the same room.
I think I also struggle with that too because I also love being together, saying goodnight to each other. But
You also hate sleeping.
but at the end of the day, Zack is more comfortable being in a different bed. I shouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
What else?
We were gonna ask
Misconceptions or things you get
'cause
asked.
I'm like,
I wrote a bunch down, so like if you guys don't have any
go
specific
for it.
ones.
I want to specifically on the misconceptions.
Okay.
You all.
I think the biggest one is
Oh.
I have it in quotes, like what people would say is like that's unstable and it's not going to
Yeah,
last.
that's never gonna last.
And I'm like, well, 50% of marriages end in divorce.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
Do
And
people ever
honestly-
think it's like, sorry, do people ever think it's like you guys added another person's relationship as like a last ditch effort?
Yes.
And that's on here too.
So
Yeah.
often.
Or that you got bored with
That's
your
all.
current
That's
partner.
all I see
Yeah.
on social media is people being like, "Oh, that'll never last. Oh, they're just doing it to spice it up some
Honestly,
more, and then they're gonna like ditch them or whatever."
The toxic discourse about
Oh my
like,
God, it's crazy.
like polyamory or even just like open relationships on social media,
Even within
from
the
some of
queer
these
community.
gays are crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's like if that's great if it's not for you, but how the fuck are you gonna sit there and like tear down someone who's
Yeah.
been doing this for many years? I mean, even just thinking about our friends in Hawaii. I mean, they've been together like 30 years, and it's like you're gonna say that's not valid, or
Right.
is it gonna last when you're single? I'm not trying to be rude, but like when you're single, like honestly,
People, I know, like if I see, like I'll see thruples on social media, and then if you go into the comments, it's like crazy.
crazy.
I know.
Yeah, made this life never find
And
me.
honestly, it's just
I see that all the time.
this life never found me.
Made this
And it's-
life
it's
never
just
find
giving
me. And I'm
bitter
like,
and
okay, well,
jealous.
and then it won't. Right.
It's always people, And they're always like, and I'm like, as soon as you've done a tech date of a relationship, let me know what you know.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I just like, yeah.
From our perspective too, it's like this happened so naturally that it wasn't like whenever I hear someone say, "Oh, that's never gonna last," they're just doing it to, you know, spice it up. It's like that's not at all how this relationship developed.
But that's
Like,
also not to say that someone hasn't done.
Yes.
Like, that's the other end of the coin, right? Is that like I'm sure people have tried to do that as a last ditch
Came
effort.
from somewhere. Like, it's a,
Yes.
yeah, stereotype for sure.
The other one was like it's just about sex, and that is couldn't be further from the truth because honestly, like our sexual relationship has between the three of us, between each other, has ebbed and flowed like no other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like
And
that's
tell me how
mutual.
many hookups you've wanted to move in with. And like, no, doesn't happen that way.
No.
Me barely one. Barely one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, and not to be rude, but like, if this was all about sex, we wouldn't be together anymore.
Yeah.
Like, really, truly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I think that's another one. And then afraid of commitment. That's another one because it's like, this is even more complex than.
And we've had to put in more work with two people than I feel like. Even when it was just Jordan and I, we were in deep in it and it was so easy. And when Zach came in, like we learned more about ourselves. It got more complex. We're growing as, you know, a human and a partner. So I think in that aspect, it's been amazing.
more commitment, more trust, more problems.
Yeah, communication. It's problems that like not necessarily we want, but it's problems that aren't going to push us apart. It's going to bring us more together.
Do you get people saying, I can't believe you do that. I can't even handle one.
Yes.
I know that.
Yeah.
I feel like
yes.
I feel like I hear people say that too all the time.
Oh yeah. Or
And
like,
they
how
might
did
be
you
right.
get two? I can't even get one.
Yeah, I can't even get one.
I can't even get one. How do you have two? I'm like,
I think because we said that we weren't sure, like this was something we were never open to, but I think I always knew that I had like oh God, it's so cliche, but just like a big heart. Like I definitely could see myself falling in love with multiple people. No more. Two is enough.
At capacity.
yes.
And that's not to say like we don't get crushes, we don't get like
Or
you
that
know,
polyamory, like having more than one primary partner. You know, it's a
You
bad
never
thing.
say
that-
never.
I know I'll never say never, but
Yes.
it's not something I'm actively seeking. But this wasn't either. So but yeah.
Okay. So kind of close out.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's the best thing about being in a throuple for each of you? I'm going to pick Matt. I'm going to start with you.
Oh, well, we were talking about this yesterday, and it's money. I mean,
absolutely.
being able to own a home on 3 incomes is
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah. Tinks.
Oh my God.
Triple income, no kids.
Yes, triple income, no kids.
We sound so
That it's amazing as it sounds.
Yeah, but like
Because-
logically, I mean, like, yeah, of course. I'd be
Yes, like
bonus, a
we
plus.
get more money to spend on each other, to
Yeah.
spend on trips that we want to take, to spend on just life,
Yep.
and it's so nice.
back to conversion. It's so lovely to see like
Yeah.
two other people that you love experiencing love for each other. That's another big one for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's nice to have another partner you can run to when you piss off at the other one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Two different perspectives that you
Yeah.
get on things, and
I mean, it's like living with two best friends when you're
like-
fighting with one of your best friends. You go to the other one and
Yep.
talk shit. And,
yeah.
We also just kind of like a sounding board that you trust deeply and emotionally in the same way that you trust this person that you're fighting with. And I think they can both be someone that like champions behind you, but also is like a voice of reason that knows you both. So
Matt's a little head in the clouds. Zach's a realist. They know
Yeah,
together.
it's so true.
all right. Well, first off, thank you both. Thank you both.
No, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say smash it. Smash the patriarchy. Smash the patriarchy.
hey, we
Well, we were talking
naturally think in binary. So it's just there.
the world
It's always.
except airplane rows. We get one.
Oh my
extra.
God,
So,
that's
yeah.
an added benefit.
Have that. That's a top perk.
That is a top.
Do you
top
take
perk.
middle or do you rotate?
Zach take middle.
Yeah.
Usually I like need an aisle, and Matt is instantly asleep.
Well, and yeah, one of them's gonna be asleep. So
That's for the window, and that
worked out.
I have 50,
They get mad at me all
chance
the
that
time.
someone's awake. So
Yeah.
I need the middle.
yeah.
I always
Tyler,
give
you're
Tyler
pretty
the
rough.
window because he's tall.
Well, thank you two for having us.
Yeah, of course. We wanted to have you guys for so long. And thank you. Like it's a topic that I feel like again, back to like trailblazing, but just like teaching others, right? We did not grow up knowing anyone that was any sort of in multi-partner relationship, as well as the people that we know and our friends and family don't either. So like our intent with this pod is always to be like, hey, here's a piece of culture that you either know or don't know about it, and just like open ears and listen, and then like take that with you wherever you go, for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because
There
we're
had
not
to be-
Mormon.
There had to be swingers in Montana.
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. People get freaky deaky in those woods, you know.
True.
Yes.
I still wouldn't take advice from straight people though.
No, never. Rule number one. Rule number one.
I love it.
Okay, well, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Bye. Bye. All right. So as you guys know, we always do Song of the Week. And y'all are big music listeners. So
That we are.
let's just get it started. Let's go. What would you guys like to do? Song of the Week.
So yeah, song of the week right now I've been just on repeat is "Sweat" by Mel C. Spice
Okay.
Girls. It's just
I
coming
have
out
not
with
heard.
It's
Both
so good.
singles are
Both
actually really
singles
good.
are phenomenal. They're just dancey, poppy.
Is she like slated to have like a full album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How am I not
Yeah.
tracking this?
Mel is in the Spice Girl?
Spice Girl.
Okay,
Sporty
next
Spice.
question.
C. Sporty Spice. Not Mel B.
I was so confused. I never knew the other one was named Mel C.
Well, Melanie C is what she's
Honestly,
going
I
by.
forgot there was.
I'd
two
never
of
heard
them
the
that I
term Mel C.
Yeah.
Well, then I was shooting out to be like, when did the B go to C? No. I'm about to age myself.
Do you have a song of the week?
TTNF has been in my head since the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Oh,
so-
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I got the shirt on. So
Yeah.
Love it.
yeah.
Love it.
I don't know. But the most random moments, it's rolling in my head. So
Yeah.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay. A little R&B moment. LMA. Her
Yes.
album came out, and the song 100 is amazing. And also it's like lyrically it talks about like how you need to give and take in a relationship, which sounds very cliche, but the way it's talked about is like 100 is like 100%. She's talking about how she's giving 20 and he gives 80, and you can give 60, but you know, it doesn't always need to be a 50-50 split. And that's actually a conversation that we've had in like the relationship about how that can change. And I thought that was just such a brilliant
daily.
thing to talk about in a song. And then also loving Charlie's new album with the Weather and Play soundtrack. It is a very different, and I don't know if they're gonna click with it.
I don't like
but
it.
I like that more like experimental side of things. I will say
It's like
that
it's just speaking
I might like
poetry.
it.
Like
It's a
I
little-
love what her messages and everything. I just don't think the music clicks with me.
okay, the highlight is Dying for You, and I need you to listen to
a
that.
lot about that.
Click it first so that you can have a good idea of the peak of the album, and then you
Okay.
can kind of dig into the rest. Because if you don't listen to that one first, I feel like you're could possibly be disappointed. It's great.
Okay.
It's a very different sound. It's not Brat.
I'll listen.
it's not like first song is like a narrative. Anyway,
Yes.
so
It's like
it's-
spoken words.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Jordan-
and that's what I get. The entire
Yeah.
album is just like it's a poetry singing type of thing, which is great for her if that's what she wants. Just not. We love art. We love.
Maybe it's the album that not we wanted, but she needed.
Correct. Yeah. She needed for herself.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm happy for her. Go Charlie.
God forbid she sees this.
For the listeners, Jordan and I spend a lot of time talking about music. A lot of time and effort.
Yes.
So
With Phil too. We have
and
a
Phil.
group chat.
Yes,
There's
and
just
Phil,
some
who the
shit.
listeners know as well. Fuck you, Phil.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Oh, mine's the Muna song.
Yes.
Dancing on the Wall. Muna's back.
Cute.
After 4 years, I'm so excited. Isaac?
My big thing is I've just been really into old 2000s punk, and I've just been re-listening to that.
Example.
Yeah, don't worry. Mine always gets cut. Yeah, mine never makes
Like
the
an
list.
Avril? Like, are we talking
Yeah,
about?
but I've been listening to a lot of like Good
Paramore?
Charlotte, Sum 41.
don't wanna be
Our gym's really into it. Whoever is there doing the playlist, it's like old Good Charlotte, The Killers. It's like all my favorite shit. So that like era of like 2001 to like 7.
Is that the song? I don't want to be in love.
Later, but yes.
No, but
also like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. That's good.
It's good.
Love it. Yeah, that's all I
Don't
got.
cut it.
I can cut it. All right, and that's a wrap on Matt, Jordan, and Zach. We just want to tell the boys thank you so much again for coming on the episode and letting us batter you with a million questions, probably ones that you get all the time or hopefully new ones. But we really just appreciate it. It's hard to come on here and be vulnerable and talk about your whole story and talk about misconceptions and all of it. So as always, we just want to thank our guests, and we are super appreciative of you three. And I'm hoping it really generates some good questions and discussion.
Yeah, make sure that you, as a listener, if you have more questions, write in, because we will absolutely field them and get them answered. and find a way to get like those answers to you.
Yeah.
Because they're very open to questions. One thing I really appreciate about them, and I have the last 2 years,
Yep.
is there's like not a question that's really going to offend them
Yeah.
about their dynamic and their relationship. And obviously you see that in the episode.
Yep.
Like they're very, very open to talking about it, and they appreciate it, as we learn too, just because it makes them or has them like think through
Yep.
those concepts, or like how they speak to things or how they frame things. And so, yeah. And I always just love having friends and learning more about them
Yeah.
every time, for us personally.
I agree.
So.
And as always, I'm setting up Tyler because I told him he gets to do the outro this time.
As always, you can follow us on all social media at No Gays in Montana, or email us at nogaysinmontana@gmail.com.
.gay.
.gay.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And we will catch you next week.